Einen wunderschönen guten Tag und herzlich willkommen zurück zu Disco Elysium. Die beiden machen schon wieder ihren Unfug und wir haben dabei noch die Brechstange in der Hand. Stop it! Sie hören auch nicht auf. Ah, jetzt, okay. Erstattet Joyce Bericht. Ja, aber vorher sprechen wir mit Kim.
Alright, we've finished here. Let's quickly debrief and go over what we found, so we don't do it in front of the company rep.
Das gehört wohl zur Polizeiarbeit. Was halten Sie von dem ganzen, Kim?
Honestly, I'm quite worried by what we've seen so far. The evidence seems to point to a rather extensive and well-organized operation. I'm especially intrigued by that radio transmitter, particularly the sheer number of stations it can connect. Looks like this alleged drug trade casts a wide net.
This means it's well funded. Technology like that, a major player must be financing it.
I'm not sure what the ULAN frequencies are all about, but they may hold some significance. Perhaps it's a better way to connect between fleets while avoiding frequency bleed, or maybe it's used to tap into RCM networks.
Listening in on your calls between you and your station, a worrying prospect.
Oh, and the maps we found. They reveal the geographical extent of the operation. Looks like they've used abandoned tunnels and access roads to stay hidden. This is useful info. And last but not least, it looks like the Hardy Boys knew this driver, as we know that she was present at the lynching. This may be the Union connection we've been searching for.
The probe and the case converged, he thinks. This was quite the find.
Was ist mit den Filmpostern? Was für eine Rolle spielen die?
As elegant as they are, I don't think they are relevant to the drug trade.
Don't be fooled. Desire always plays a role.
Das sind viele Frauen. Vor allem für die Fahrerkabine einer Fahrerlady.
Yes, well.
Unimportant.
Also hat es doch mit der Gewerkschaft zu tun.
Like Joyce told us, yes, logistically. But don't expect to bust this open during our stay here. At best, this is an angle we can use against them, to other ends, as extra ammunition.
Wird die BMA diesbezüglich eine Ermittlung einleiten?
We should return to the murder case. See what Joyce tells us about the lynching. When we are done for the day, I call my station and suggest our narcotics department look into it. There are more than enough grounds to start an official investigation, sometime later when we are done here. We do not want to get caught in that.
Worüber denken Sie nach?
The fact that one hasn't started already gives me pause. An investigation, I mean. Especially if the Madrid grouping is involved, and I can't imagine they aren't. It's certainly worrisome.
Korruption.
All the same, I don't like the idea of internal affairs descending on the matter. That won't help anyone either.
Gut. Ist unsere Abschlussbesprechung damit beendet?
Debrief over. After you.
Okay. Ich pack mal mein Werkzeug wieder weg, ja? Und das Ding gerade auch. Das hilft uns gerade nicht wirklich. Let's roll. Sie ist wahrscheinlich zu klein dafür, aber... Könnte sie die Fahrerlady sein? Weiß ich nicht.
I've got nothing to say to you.
Unwahrscheinlich, sie hat Jura studiert. Also,
It's you again. What is it?
will damit sagen, sie hat wahrscheinlich nicht Jura studiert, um LKW-Fahrerin zu werden. Stellen Sie sich mal vor, ich habe Sie mit dem hiesigen Drogenhandel in Verbindung gebracht.
Like hell you have. There is no local drug trade. This place is as clean as a rifle. Go back to Jamrock and ask the local junkies how clean your streets are in Precinct 41 Kilos.
We'll do that. In the meantime, did you know that there's an abandoned lorry at the intersection that was used to move raw ingredients for drugs from Terminal B to Jamrock? The person driving it was present at the hanging. It was one of you. We've connected the footprints. Detective, do you want to deliver the coup de grâce?
No, the thunder is his. Leave it to the lieutenant.
Ja, sehe ich ebenso. Nein, Sie haben sich die Ehre verdient. Ich habe hier einen Scheiß gemacht.
Thank you. You're right, Titus. There is no local drug trade because it's all controlled by you. You're the drug trade.
That's a mighty interesting theory. I guess that's what you would need to do, theoretically. A big, strong, state-run monopoly would outcompete the runts on the street.
Yeah, man. Theoretically, that's what you would do. To get rid of the gangs, the dealers, even some of the junkies.
You would need good, trustworthy people to take their place, of course. Hardy men to run such a monopoly. For the good of the community, of course.
Na, reden Sie sich das nur weiter ein. Ich weiß ganz sicher, dass da draußen noch jede Menge Drogen im Umlauf sind.
No, there aren't. Some little shit and his dad are doing speed. Who fucking who? The stuff's probably from Jamrock.
Whatever you've seen is peanuts. Look at the big picture, man. The place is a paradise. And all thanks to Hardy Boys.
Theoretically, of course. We're just talking politics here. My answer to your drug accusation is, how dare you? Go fuck yourself.
Not quite yet, Mr. Hardy. There were 8 sets of prints on the crime scene. There are only 7 Hardy Boys here.
Der achte Hardy. Der fehlende Hardy. Sie hat die Strippen in der Hand, stimmt's?
My answer is, fuck off. Mind your own business. There is no 8th Hardy. I run this goddamn scene.
Finally, you got something out of him. This could prove useful in the future.
And here we go. Back to the usual.
I know! Fatty walked on all 4s. He's so fucking fat he left 2 sets of footprints. Go fuck your mom, Dennis.
That's more like it, boys. You heard him. It was Angus on all 4s. Anything else you need to know?
Wir könnten Titus nochmal versuchen, Titus zu überzeugen, dass er manipuliert wird. So, for fuck's sake halt. Warte. Wir können Rhetorik ausrüsten. Glaube ich. Ja, safe können wir das. Ich habe schon wieder vergessen, womit. Es tut mir leid. Ich werde noch 18 Mal gucken müssen, was hier was macht. Es war ein Hemd, richtig? Yes. So.
It's you again. What is it?
Oh, mal wieder 72% Chance.
Convinced
Hey.
Titus is being manipulated? Bad idea. Bringing her up will do no good. You should know by now. Titus will never falter.
Einer seiner Jungs ist nicht so standfest.
Just remember, it's about more than Klassje. It's about these men and Martinez. Their district. Their responsibility. Good, I like this. This guy's learning. Outside, in the midday sun, ruins. The pavements are cracked and the benches peeling. Newspapers blow in the wind.
Das war's dann. Fall abgeschlossen. Du siehst dich um. Wir gehen nach Hause, Kim.
Huh?
Der Lieutenant hebt eine Augenbraue.
He'll get it. Go on.
Notieren Sie sich das, Kim. In Martinez wird man umgebracht, nur weil sie einen nicht leiden können.
Got it. Kill you because they don't like you. All because
Wenn man für die falschen Leute arbeitet.
Goddamn right. This is Union Town. You work for the company, we will kill you.
Fuck, Dennis. We don't kill you if you work for the company. Half the harbor works for the company.
work for the wrong company and they execute you.
Hier wird man einfach gehängt, wie im Mittelalter. Sie stellen die Leiche öffentlich zur Schau. Sie hängen einen einfach, erschießen einen, egal. Sie können sich noch nicht mal dran erinnern.
It wasn't that. It wasn't. We didn't shoot him.
That's it. That's the weak one. You flushed him out. Now go in for the...
Officer, you will be next if you don't shut up.
Wo kommt eine Theo jetzt auf einmal her?
He's onto you. He knows what you're trying to do.
Du wendest dich Angus zu. Oder was? Wollen sie mich auch umbringen, genau wie ihn? Völlig grundlos? Du wendest dich an Theo. Was wird passieren, wenn ich weiterrede? Werden sie mich auch umbringen? In dieser Bar? Wegen nichts? Na, wir sehen zuerst Kim an.
The lieutenant has put down his notebook. His hand is resting on his holster. He gives you an imperceptible nod. What? What does that mean? Go for it. The lieutenant has his eyes set on the fat guy. Push Angus. We're almost there.
Oder was? Wollen sie mich auch umbringen, genau wie ihn? Völlig grundlos?
We didn't kill him. We didn't even hang him. He was dead when...
Shut up, Angus!
Er war tot, bevor sie ihn gehängt haben?
Fatty! Say one more thing to the cops and I'll...
Dennis, stand down, or I'll beat your head in. Theo, take your hand off the belt. This isn't 31. I've got this under control.
Does he? His closed fist is shaking. It's you who's in control. Let them have their moment.
Es wird still im Raum. So still, dass du Angus röcheln hören kannst.
Angie, where's your goddamn inhaler? You sound like you're dying.
I left it home. I can't get it. I'm too fucked. I'm sorry.
Why are you so fucking fat, Angus? Now it's all pointless. Because of you. You wasted my time. I told you, Titus. I told you just give her up.
Lizzie, your help is no longer needed here. Go tell Evrard.
Fine. I'll tell him. After a long walk along the coast.
Ohne sich umzudrehen, zieht sie von dann.
What just happened between these two? You're in. He's all yours. Questions.
Sie haben ihn also nicht umgebracht. Er war schon tot.
He nods.
You hanged the corpse to cover up the real cause of death, the bullet in his head.
Another nod.
Warum?
Because the girls asked us to. They were in some shit.
Girls plural. There's another girl. 2 of them. Take note of this. They'll probably say more about her later.
Did she kill him?
Cop, I have no idea. The girl says she didn't.
He doesn't think she did. Or at least he hopes she didn't.
Was ist Sonntagnacht passiert?
Klassje came down. She seemed really out of it. Drugged up, even more than usual. Bug-eyed and gurning, you know? Not in a fun way. It looked like she'd redosed after something went down. I've seen that look before. She was scared. I knew someone had died.
Warum war Ihnen das klar?
I've done this job for 10 years. I've seen it before. It's the politician in the motel room with the dead hooker scenario. only in reverse.
Good analogy, boss.
You don't get to talk yet, Shanky. You're still on the bench. You keep taking it easy too, Angus.
That's okay with the fat man, still wheezing there. He couldn't speak if he wanted to.
Was ist dann passiert?
We went upstairs. Sure as day the merc was dead. There was a bullet hole through the window. Fucking dirty sheets and bottles everywhere.
Das erklärt, warum die Scheibe ausgetauscht wurde. Das macht so viel Sinn. Das heißt, dem Blickwinkel nach muss er eigentlich aus dem Gebäude gegenüber, also aus dem verfluchten Gebäudekomplex, erschossen worden sein. Die Würfelmacherin?
He means they'd been fucking?
Tibbs patched the window, and the corpse we hanged.
Wer ist Tibbs? Der achte Hardy?
Nah, he's my brother. He's in the window replacement business.
Right now, he's grateful he hasn't gotten his brother into this mess.
Wenn Klassje ihn nicht umgebracht hat, warum dann die Vertuschungsaktion?
You may have noticed our girl's in some shit of her own.
Mir ist nichts aufgefallen. Von welcher Art Scheiße reden wir hier?
They can't show up on police radar kind. There are people after her. From the old world. Where she came from.
Diese Leute, wer sind sie?
They're powerful. Connected to the moral intern. She's clearly afraid for her life. Says if she showed up in your systems, she'd be ghosted away.
And why would you help someone like that? By taking on a murder?
Why would I? I guess we abide all sorts of runaways and losers here. It's a Martinez thing.
Wer hat den Söldner dann auf dem Gewissen? Irgendwelche Spuren?
Not yet. Just some ideas. She says the shot came from outside, behind the window somewhere. So that's a clue.
Was meinen Sie?
I'm thinking someone's past caught up with them. Either hers or his.
Hers, you mean?
Oh Gott. Bitte sag mir, dass nicht wir... Wobei wir... Oh Gott, es wäre so bad, Alter. Aber na.
I mean the people after Klassje. Maybe the shot missed. Maybe it was meant for her.
I like that. Been thinking the same thing myself.
Und Sie haben auch eine Ahnung, wie seine Vergangenheit ausgesehen hat?
My dude. One of those mercenary buddies of his could have done it. They got guns. Training. Years of bad blood, probably. Or it could have been someone else from Crenell. Tell you what I'd do. Check out the coast for vantage points. Maybe consult with a ballistics buddy of mine. That's what I'd do. If I wasn't too busy doing this clown dance with you.
Wessen Idee war es überhaupt, ihn zu hängen? Hat sie darauf gebracht?
In a manner of speaking.
Remember the two girls? He may be talking about the other one.
Vorhin haben Sie gesagt, die Mädels hätten Sie um Hilfe gebeten. Meinen Sie hier das andere Mädel?
That's right. It was her idea to hang him. I liked it for political reasons. It sent a good message.
Das andere Mädel ist die Drogenhändlerin, der fehlende achte Hardy, stimmt's?
Fella, you think too much. He's off all right. You're gonna hurt your head.
A little too far there, but you're definitely right.
That woman is just affiliated with the Hardy Boys. You don't know her, anyway.
Verstanden. Können Sie mir etwas über sie sagen? Name, aktueller Aufenthaltsort? Sie werden einfach dicht machen, wenn ich Ihnen weitere Fragen über sie stelle, stimmt's?
Glad you understand that.
Es tut mir leid, dass Sie sich meinetwegen gestritten haben. Nein, es tut mir überhaupt nicht leid. Fuck you, Titus. Danke dafür, Titus. Ich werde mit dir reden. Noch ein letztes Mal.
You do that. Hey, cop. Before you go.
Suddenly, the wind picks up outside. You hear it rattling the large windows in their frames. It carries newspapers, circles the whirling in rags in a warm column.
She, Klassje, came to Martinez to hide. Many of us did. This is where you wash up when there's nowhere left to go. The Union takes you in. Now, she refused that protection. But
Still, after all this headache,
Aber es wäre Ihnen trotzdem lieber, wenn wir sie nicht mitnehmen würden?
that's right. If we didn't take care of the people who end up here, this place would just be a couple of ruins and some cargo containers.
We'll take that into account.
Der Lieutenant lässt sein Notizbuch in die Jackentasche gleiten und wendet sich zum Gehen. Ach, was, okay. Crazy shit. Das hätten wir theoretisch alles viel früher haben können, oder? Ich meine, mir hat halt so ein Dialogfetzen mit Joyce gefehlt. Und... weird.
It's always good to see you.
Sie schenkte ein ermattetes Lächeln und lehnt sich gegen das Geländer.
something in her demeanor has changed. She's tired, consigned to her fate, to being here with you and what's to come.
Die Hardy Boys haben uns erzählt, was wirklich passiert ist.
I understand.
Sie stellt ihre Kaffeetasse auf dem Tisch ab.
Just like that. No resistance. Her shoulders are slouched, her feet long and straight.
Sie wirken nicht überrascht. Sie haben damit gerechnet.
I knew there was a chance you'd get them to tell you. It's what you do. You're the police. For what it's worth, I'm sorry for wasting your time.
This is good. Clear the air first, between you two. Then move on to questions. Is it? Something is off here. Shush, I can't hear what she's saying. Let the miss speak. She's tall and thin and tired. A twig trying so hard not to break.
If you knew we would find out eventually, why did you waste our time?
Because of the Hardys. I couldn't just dispense with them. They were only trying to help me. Out of the shit I'd gotten into.
Das ist nicht Grund genug.
You're right. There's more.
More?
You answer to the coalition government, and by extension, the moral intern.
Sie sitzt an, eine weitere Zigarette herauszuholen.
Briefly glancing over her shoulder to the sea, as she's done time and time again. A grand expanse of water reaches over the bay and to the horizon, golden grey in the noonlight.
Was liegt dahinter?
The Pearl, the Muindi Isola, the Occident, and then Oranje, the old world.
Schauen Sie deshalb ständig über Ihre Schulter? Weil Sie Angst haben vor der Moralintern? Was genau hat es damit zu tun, dass die BMA und die Moralintern miteinander kooperieren? Die BMA ist nicht das Schoßhündchen der Moralintern. Sie müssen sich keine Sorgen machen.
You share a database with them. You send people to their courts.
Warum? Was haben Sie getan?
Just business. But bad business for some people in the moral intern. If I show up in your records, officer, they will find me. They will...
What happens if they do?
They will kill me, sir. If you file my name, take me in for questioning, enter me into the moral intern mill, well, then I'm fucked. For nothing. This murder didn't have anything to do with me.
Was haben Sie getan, dass diese Leute jetzt hinter Ihnen her sind?
It's not nice, but it's not illegal. Not here in Ravishal, or even in Oranje.
What exactly did you do?
Industrial espionage. I joined a business collective with the intention of betraying them. I did my job well enough to be asked to do it again. With a bigger company. The kind you really, really don't fuck with. I took their ledgers, 2 decades worth of accounting.
I need the names of the companies involved and who hired you.
The job was Lou's doing County Savings Bank. They sound small, but they're part of the Lou Scott conglomerate. That was the second job. The first was some printer company. You wouldn't know them.
But she really destroyed them. She still feels it.
As to who hired me for the job, I don't know. But they're after me too, along with Lou Scott and their friends in the MI. Once you're done in the competitive intelligence circuit, you don't have allies. You're radioactive.
Ich bin mir sicher, dass es Leute gibt, die viel Schlimmeres auf dem Kerbholz haben. Geschieht Ihnen recht. Wenn ich König bin, stelle ich die Savings Bank als Erster an die Wand. Was? Nein. Sie haben recht. Das ist übel. Sie haben zerstört, was andere Leute mühsam aufgebaut haben. Es ist wirklich ein ziemlicher Schlamassel.
It is. Many people lost their jobs. Not just C-suite. Ordinary people. What I did to get to accounting...
Beim Gedanken daran schüttelt sie mit dem Kopf.
A lot of people got hurt. But that's just more of my shit you shouldn't have to deal with. You're solving a murder.
That can wait. Look into her eyes. There's more.
Was haben Sie getan?
One of them killed themselves because of me.
Wow.
She says it quickly, like she said it 100 times. To herself, to get used to the idea. Out of guilt.
Du schüttelst den Kopf. Ist nicht einfach, damit klarzukommen.
How do you deal with anything? It's all just... How do you do it?
Ich kann das auch nicht.
There you have it. The way of the warrior.
Around her, a drop in the atmospheric pressure. Not long from now, it will get dark, and the air will start moving faster, circling the box she stands on. She's already in prison here for what happened, and she's prepared to never leave, even after his death.
Was ist hier passiert? In der Nacht, in der er starb?
We were there. Together. In bed, I mean.
Sagen Sie mir ganz genau, was passiert ist. Also, Sie wissen, was ich mit ganz genau meine.
Okay. He was in a kneeling position. He had just entered me. I was on my back, looking at him. I heard the window behind me shatter, and I turned to look. There was a hole in the glass. I turned back to him. His eyes were looking through me, and his mouth was open. Dumb. I could see. I could...
A great pain moves through her, a dark and indefinite wave.
I knew he was dead, before he fell down on top of me. He was heavy. I pushed him off and he fell to the floor. There. He only had his boots on. I bit the pillow, not to scream, then ran downstairs.
Eine lange Pause entsteht. Sie steht nur da, die Arme an ihrer Seite.
I waited for the second shot to come. For me. I thought there would be one. It never came.
She's forgotten about her cigarette. The butt has burned right down to her fingernails.
Ihre Zigarette.
Oh.
Sie sieht den Stummel an und wirft ihn schnell weg. Es tut mir leid, dass Sie das miterleben mussten.
So am I.
What time was this? When did it happen? It would help us if you could be as precise as possible.
11:30 to 12:15. I don't know the exact time. Around midnight.
It's okay. Were you inebriated?
Not as much as usual. He'd done a line, plus other things. I was drinking.
Wait. Titus said she was gurning her jaw off, much more than usual.
Titus meinte, sie hätten ziemlich high gewirkt.
Oh, yeah. I did one of his lines, just to clear my head.
Good thinking. Clear your head. You should clear your head. Get into his mindset.
Did you hear or see the shooter in the course of this?
No,
Was haben Sie dann gemacht?
nothing. I was trapped. I was stuck in my room downstairs. I got some clothes on and crawled back up, drew the blinds. Blood was coming from his mouth. Not a lot, just a little. He was still on the floor, slouched. I couldn't be there with him anymore, so I ran down and out of my room, into the hallway, down the stairs. I knew there would be people there.
Run, woman. Run past them and out into the streets where it's dark and people move. To the lorries at the intersection, as far as you can.
Warum sind Sie nicht von hier geflüchtet? Und überhaupt, warum sind Sie jetzt noch hier?
I already ran. I ran from an entire Isola. I can't run any further. Not with these people. This is as far as it gets.
Haben Sie den Schuss gehört, als es passiert ist?
When he was shot? I may have. I don't know. I couldn't hear anything over the glass exploding.
The gunshot wasn't that loud. This is something to keep in mind when assessing the distance of the shot.
Haben Sie Lily getötet?
What? Why would I put myself through this? Insanity. Get myself cornered like this.
Ja, ist halt auch totaler Unfug. Warum habe ich das gefragt?
He wouldn't have died if it weren't for me. I know that. But I would never hurt him.
All kinds of crazy things happen when drugs are involved. Sweet, sweet drugs. It could have been a desire murder. Maybe an act of jealousy. He was a serviceman. He must have had a gun lying around, close to her hand. A military weapon using jacketed ammunition.
Wait. Wait. Er muss seine Waffe bei sich gehabt haben. Haben Sie die benutzt?
No. I specifically asked him not to carry firearms when he was with me. He only had his stupid armor.
Die Kugel in seinem Kopf, das war ein Mantelgeschoss, wie das Militär sie benutzt. Wer hat hier sonst noch ein Militärgewehr?
I don't know. His friends have rifles. Maybe those psychos did it. Coalition military have rifles. I'm not a munitions expert, and I did not shoot him.
She might have been a tad disingenuous when she avoided talking about the bullet in his head before.
Sie haben mir schon eine Lüge zu dieser Kugel aufgetischt, als ich gesagt habe, es wäre auf ihn geschossen worden. Da haben Sie gemeint, Sie wären verwirrt.
I've said I'm sorry. What more do you want me to say? I did my best not to lie. It didn't always work.
Die Leute unten haben eine verrückte Idee, dass Sie ihn getötet hätten.
I'm sad to hear that. They must have said it in some fit of frustration or under pressure. They couldn't have meant it. I've talked to them after it happened. No one has implicated me.
She's getting scared now of you, the downstairs people, all of it.
Es ist okay, wenn es Notwehr war.
I did not kill him to defend myself from rape. I told you before. That wasn't what happened.
Okay, ich glaube ihr. Okay, ich möchte, dass Sie mir ein paar andere Fragen beantworten.
Like what?
Was ist passiert, nachdem sie runtergelaufen waren?
Sylvie was tending the bar. A lot of people were there. The Hardys were at the table in front of the stage. I think the Union box was full. Ruby was there too. They were having such a good time. I sat down and they all welcomed me. I didn't even have to say anything. Ruby knew something was wrong.
Ruby?
Bevor wir weitermachen, wer ist Ruby?
Ruby. You know, the leader.
The leader? Of what?
The Hardy Boys.
Ich dachte, Hardy wäre der Anführer der Hardy Boys.
Well, nominally, yes. Ruby's the one they go to when things happen, like things they need taken care of. She's the organizer.
This Ruby, in her phrasing, is entrusted with great power. She trusts her. So do the others.
Would you say she is the 8th Hardy Boy?
Why not?
Okay, machen wir weiter. Was geschah dann?
Well, Ruby said let's talk upstairs. I showed her the room. I've known these people since December. They know my situation, that I can't leave a paper trail. Ruby was the first one I told. She said she'd take care of this. It's what she does, you know, take care of things. I helped her get the body to the bathroom. We used a belt to pull him up under the shower, to keep him upright.
To mislead you, they were tampering with the body.
To produce lividity, matching a hanging?
Yes.
We completely missed the tampering. Looks like you got there in time. What was this, 20 minutes after death?
About 20, yes. Ruby explained it would make the blood... You know what he does.
Sie sieht auf den Boden. Dann sieht sie mit ihren hellbraunen Augen auf und erwidert deinen Blick. Was haben sie dann gemacht?
Ruby went outside to talk to Titus and the boys. I was just looking at Lely in the bathroom. I had to put his clothes back on. His armor, too. It was tough, but I've seen him take it off and put it on many times. It took Ruby maybe half an hour to come back with Titus. I'd gotten him ready by then. They carried him out. I knew what they were going to do. Make it look like a hanging. Ruby said they would.
Was haben sie gemacht, während die anderen ihn aufgehängt haben?
Ruby said to wait here. She also said I wouldn't see her for a while. That we should lay low or something. So I did.
Diese Ruby, wo ist sie jetzt?
I don't know. I haven't seen her since.
We will need to take this question to the Hardy Boys.
Interesting. Why did this Ruby go through so much trouble to hide something someone else did? Look into this later.
Könnten die Leute, die hinter ihnen her sind, ihn getötet haben?
That's the first thing that went through my head when I heard the glass break.
Und?
I thought they'd found me. They've killed him to punish me. All last week, I've tried not to talk to anyone or be seen with anyone,
Sie betrachtet ihre Zigarette.
so they wouldn't be hurt. I've come to understand, however, this is paranoia. What happened didn't have anything to do with me.
Das ist aber auf jeden Fall etwas, das wir bedenken sollten.
We can't go after Loose Cap. Not yet. There are other, saner leads.
I don't ask you to, Lieutenant. If there's one thing I know, it's that you'll get nothing from there.
Wenn sie sich verstecken, warum haben sie dann die Polizei gerufen?
Because I'm an idiot.
Which is an indicator of truth. Idiot. She's nothing of the sort.
Sie möchten, dass wir das glauben, aber sie sind kein Idiot. Das glaube ich nicht. Warum haben sie es gemacht?
You have to understand, the people around here, no one was making the call, and he kept rotting. And then they picked his clothes off, and that little fucker threw stones at him.
Her jaw is clenched. Her throat moves. It takes all her strength not to cave in and sob. Once. Just one time.
He kept throwing stones at him for 3 days. I could hear the thud, thud. So I called you. I hope with all my heart it's not the last thing I do in Ravishol.
Shit.
She definitely called the cops. That was task complete. It could not have been a lie. That is impossible.
Wann wurde das Fenster ausgetauscht?
Last week, Angus and Titus's brother, I think he's called Tibbs, took care of it.
You should have another look at that window after this. Reconstruct the scene. It's right there.
In ihrem Schlafzimmer?
Yes, you see the glass sparkling out of the corner of your eye.
Yep. Ich glaube, das war vorerst alles.
She nods, silently. She doesn't even smoke. Just picks up the cold coffee and holds it in her hands.
Der Lieutenant wirft ihr einen Blick zu, dann einen zweiten auf die Tür.
He's thinking, are we done here?
What the hell? Schauspielkunst. Okay, Schauspielkunst können wir ja ein bisschen was tun. +1. Die Brille muss weg. Und das war... Nee, das war's noch nicht ganz. Das Hemd. Die Fliege.
Officer, what brings you up here in the rain?
Zum Teufel nochmal. Wach auf!
Who? What? Dear God, you've been lied to. She could have killed her lover and lied to everyone. She's not candid at all. She's smoke and mirrors and will-o-wisps. She probably didn't give you her real name either. Why would she? Arrest her immediately, before she further entangles you in her web of lies.
Gott, was sagen wir davon als erstes? Du wendest dich an den Lieutenant. Kim, warum haben wir sie noch nicht festgenommen? Oder wir sagen, Teufelsweib. Oder, wissen Sie was? Ich glaube, Sie haben nicht auf dem Revier angerufen. Ihr richtiger Name ist nicht Klassje Amandu. Was, wenn ich Ihnen sage, dass Sie vorläufig festgenommen sind? Ich gehe erst mal mit... Wissen Sie was? Ich glaube, dass Sie nicht auf dem Revier angerufen haben.
I did. What is this? I called your desk or whatever it is. The numbers are all over town. Call 8-100-2 for emergencies. There was an older woman on the other end. It sounded like she was smoking. She took my complaint. She coughed.
That is the emergency's desk number. Anyone could know that, sire, by looking around and calling the desk. I don't believe a single word she says.
What time did you make the call?
Thursday night. It was late, sometime after 12.
It checks out.
Jeder könnte die Nummer wissen. Und dass jemand gehustet hat nichts zu sagen.
But I know the time of the call too. I know I have not been 100% truthful with you officers, but I am now.
You sense a little hesitation there, or maybe even fear. The stress was on the wrong syllable. Welcome to the wake-up club, brother.
Ihr richtiger Name ist nicht Klassje Amandu.
I agree. You wouldn't give us your real name, not when people are after you.
Okay.
Ihre Stimme bricht plötzlich, als ob sie eine Garotte um den Hals hätte. Okay, und weiter?
Okay, it's not.
Sie geben es also zu.
You log your work every week. It's all transmitted to Common, sir. I couldn't just beg you not to enter my name. So I lied. Like I lied before. Like I did at LCSB. I have to lie all the time. I'm so tired of it.
She's not lying now. She really is very tired. Her metabolism is failing her. The afterglow of whatever narcotics she's been taking is wearing off.
Sagen Sie mir Ihren richtigen Namen.
It's Katarzyna Elysium.
Das Lächeln auf ihrem Gesicht ist zaghaft. Es tut geradezu weh.
Could it mean Klassje is an alacronym for Katarzyna Elysium?
Ist Klassje eine Abkürzung für Katarzyna Elysium?
It was a sentimental thing. I wanted to be more me here, this time. So I used my nickname.
A nickname? Who gave you this nickname, Klassje?
Wer hat Ihnen den gegeben?
A teenage boy. A million years ago.
Ich sage nichts und fahre einfach weiter fort.
I haven't said it aloud in such a long time. That name.
She's filling dead air. Can't stand the silence.
Das reicht.
She nods, her back straight, ready for whatever is next. Ready for the damage. She knows you're grilling her.
Was, wenn ich Ihnen sage, dass Sie vorläufig festgenommen sind?
But I haven't done anything. Anything illegal.
Failure to aid a police investigation. She purposefully misrepresented information crucial to the case. Fucking mind games. Enough. That's right, gang. Stern and merciless now. Stern and merciless as we reel her in.
Streng und gnadenlos? Wirklich? Dann müssten wir 4 nehmen. Ich habe genug von diesem Psychospielchen. Du drohst dir mit dem Finger neben deinem Kopf. Sie kommen aufs Revier. Alternativ hätten wir mangelnde Unterstützung eines Polizeibediensteten. Sie haben unsere Zeit verschwendet bei zeitkritischen Ermittlungen. Sie haben Informationen zum Fall falsch wiedergegeben. Ohne das Geständnis der Hardys würden wir völlig im Dunkeln tappen. Sie sind eine Verdächtige in einer Mordermittlung. Es besteht das Risiko, dass Sie fliehen. Mehr Gründe brauche ich nicht. Ja, ich probier's mal damit.
The lieutenant produces a pair of handcuffs.
Please no.
Ihre Augen werden fast ganz rund. Sie versucht noch weiter zurückzuweichen.
Fragile, unshielded. Her voice is thin and tired.
I think I know who did it. I know who shot Ledley. You know it wasn't me. Why would I do it? I have no motive.
Was wissen Sie? Wer hat ihn erschossen?
She's silent for a second, as if looking into herself for certainty. Then, in a hushed voice, she's gearing up for this betrayal is hard for her.
Ruby.
Warum glauben Sie, dass sie es war?
She has this thing for me. Ever since I met her and the boys downstairs. She's been pretty frank about what she wants.
What she's saying is sex.
Sie meinen Sex?
And more. I made the mistake of confiding in her. I told her I was on the run. She started protecting me. It became an unhealthy relationship. When I started spending time with Lely, she told me to end it. Said there would be shit if I didn't. It was not a good meeting. We stopped talking after that, but...
I don't understand. What exactly in your relationship made you think she is romantically interested in you?
She said she's in love with me. She even asked me to run away with her when I told her I'm a fugitive. She started developing notions about our relationship.
And you led her on?
A little. I was flattered, you know? But then I had to let her off, and it was not easy. I came to regret being friendly with her. We maybe kissed, nothing more.
Das ist nichts außer Sensationsgier und wilden Vermutungen.
I know what it sounds like. That's why I didn't want to tell you before. But she knew what had happened when I came downstairs. Somehow, she knew Lely was dead. She wasn't surprised at all. When we came up here, she was calm as a stone, too. She cleaned it all up like she had a plan.
This is a familiar theory. You had it too, remember? Could it be that Ruby was covering up after herself? The lynching?
Als Ruby gesagt hat, dass Scheiße passieren würde, wenn sie ihre Beziehung zu dem Verstorbenen nicht beenden würden, war das eine Drohung?
She came over one night, drunk, said she'd turn my life into a living hell. I've been threatened before, so I can tell when someone knows how to do it. And she's a pro. She must be. To keep the Hardys in line. I tried severing ties with her after that. I thought it had worked, but...
Some of that fear is still with her. She exhales sharply. What are you talking about? She's afraid you'll arrest her.
Und wie soll sie ihn getötet haben?
You said there was a secret route there, right? She could have come up through there, then taken this shot, right here, where I stand. It was too dark outside. I wouldn't have seen her.
Interesting theory. Did she know that door exists? Had you been out there with her?
Yes. She's been up here many times. She used to come to drink on the roof when,
Sie denken an das Guckloch, oder? Das Loch in der Wand von der Flipperwerkstatt?
She would have seen us. My bed is right next to...
Sie hatte ihre Zigarette im Aschenbecher völlig vergessen.
You mean to suggest she made it?
No. No. Why would she do that to herself? No, I just remembered you told me about it, and...
She's not really sure. It was right above the bed. She could have seen all sorts of things from there.
Okay, das war alles zu Ruby.
Okay, and what? Arrest the liar now. Why? She told us some pretty interesting things there. Don't arrest her. Push her a bit more, but then let her off. That Ruby theory was solid. And she's beautiful.
Ich mag die Autorität an der Stelle. Ich will sie nicht festnehmen, ehrlich gesagt. Und ich dachte mir gerade schon, eigentlich will ich da noch ein bisschen mehr rauskitzeln. Das ist alles schön und gut, aber ich glaube, wir sollten sie trotzdem mit aufs Revier nehmen. Nur für alle Fälle. Du näherst dich ihr.
Still? After all this, sir, please. It's a shitty world, and I know I'm shitty too. I know.
Langsam ballt sie ihre Hand zur Faust und zerdrückt die Zigarette, die sie immer noch hält.
But I don't deserve to be sent to the moral intern and ground into paste just because I disturbed the sanctity of accounting. That's some multinational...
She's gearing up for a last stand. This is it.
Was verdienen sie dann?
I don't know. To spend my days with smoke, drink and dance, wallowing in shit. Just like everyone else.
Was bleiben mir für andere Optionen?
You have those station calls, right? Where I have to show up at the station or I'll become a fugitive. You can write me one. You don't have to take me in right now. I promise I won't go out anymore at night. I'll be right here. I know you can do that. Just let me come in on my own. In 2 months, or maybe even 1 month. That's all I need.
You do have the form.
By God, she's playing him too. Like a fiddle, sire. Who would have known?
Was soll in 2 Monaten anders sein? Oder in einem Monat?
Everything could change. This city, the extradition rules, The people after me could be in jail. Or maybe Revachol.
There is desperation there, in that silence. A cornered animal looking for a way out.
Maybe Revachol could be free. I could be tried in a free Revachol. An independent state that doesn't hand its detainees over to the moral intern.
A free Revachol. There is a low, distant rumble on the motor tracks. A great machine shaking the pillars down south. Electricity runs up your spine.
I find that hard to believe, Miss.
In seinen Händen klimpern die Handschellen. Was war das für ein Gefühl?
It's coming.
Aber die Vorstellung gefällt mir, von einem anderen Revachol. Frei und unabhängig.
The world can change. It's changed before.
Ihre runden, hellbraunen Augen glänzen, feucht von Tränen.
Her political overture has succeeded, we see.
Ich habe meine Entscheidung getroffen.
She looks at you in silence, her face filled with fear, lips parted. Wait. If you arrest her, Kim will have to transport her. You'd be without your partner for the rest of the day.
Ich hätte sie sowieso nicht festgenommen.
Shut up. He's making a decision, and it's his to make.
Kim, nehmen Sie sie fest, bevor sich das Ganze noch weiter in die Länge zieht. Stellen wir Ihnen eine Vorladung aus. Wenn Sie nicht nachkommen, kann ich Ihnen auch nicht weiterhelfen. Vorerst gebe ich nach. Geben Sie mir keinen Anlass, es zu bereuen. Ich schreibe die Vorladung. Eigentlich will ich sie ganz gehen lassen. Aber ich weiß einfach nicht mehr, was ich ihr glauben kann und was nicht.
I won't.
Zitternd nimmt sie das Formular. Dann fasst sie sich wieder.
This may have been a grave mistake, sire.
Ah, maybe.
I promise I will be right here all the time, nights too. I'll help you any way I can in this investigation, and I will be at Station 41 in 6 weeks. I promise.
Können wir nochmal auf Sie und Ruby zurückkommen?
She nods.
Na, okay.
Okay.
Gut, dann war das offenbar alles. Ja, ich glaube, die anderen beiden Themen können wir uns dann schenken. Wechseln wir das Thema fürs Erste.
She slowly lights another cigarette and steadies her breath, as if in the presence of some tiger. You are. This is not the end of this.
Okay. Kommen wir nochmal zurück auf die Lügen, die sie uns aufgetischt haben.
Lies.
Sie wiederholt es, beendet den Satz aber nicht. Es ist nicht klar, was sie sagen wollte.
Yes, we demand she be punished
okay.
for... She slowly light.
Gut, shit, was brauchten wir?
Officer.
Ah, Showdown, okay.
It's a fine day.
Okay. Gib mir bitte meine Horrible Necktie wieder. Und bitte die Jacke. Und bitte meine Brille. Und dann sieht es fast wieder okay aus. So, haben wir irgendwo Shiver? Ich glaube nicht. Doch hier. Minus 2 Körperparat, okay. Oh, die macht auch +1 Schade. Okay, sehr gut. Sehr gut, sehr gut.
Officer. It's a fine day for questions.
Not gonna happen. Aber wir sehen mal in den grauen Himmel hinauf.
Nothing happens. There is a mass of droplets above the planetary body, colorless, merging into one another. The sky is low and cold. You hear the distant murmur of motor connections somewhere south of here. That is all.
So, officer,
Okay, worth a shot. Ich behalte die Jacke mal an, irgendwie fühle ich die gerade mehr. Wir könnten noch einen Skillpunkt in den Schader stecken, aber irgendwie sehe ich das gerade nicht. Wow, ich bin eigentlich fest davon ausgegangen, dass wir diese Folge noch mit Joyce reden, aber offenbar tun wir das nicht. Ist hier noch irgendwas, was wir uns angucken können?
You clearly see footprints in the downy carpet of dust covering the workshop floor.
Jackpot.
Ah, das hatten wir alles schon. Wir sollten uns ja nochmal in ihrem Schlafzimmer umsehen, dann machen wir das gerade nochmal. Aber hier gibt es halt nichts, was wir uns angucken können. Ah, das Fenster.
This window is pristine on the inside, unlike the one next to it. Light from the desk lamp reflects off the glass in an untarnished golden halo.
Okay, gibt uns irgendwas visuelles Kalkül. Außer unsere Brille. Ich meine, wir haben eine 83% Chance, aber inzwischen sehe ich hier halt nicht, dass das unbedingt funktioniert. Aber ich glaube, das wird einfach nicht besser. Doch, mit der Jacke.
This window is pristine on the inside. A golden light melts away into the blue, glassy darkness of your mind. In it are two neon-lit shapes, a man and a woman on the single bed.
Welche Position ist das?
Like the witness said, the man is kneeling, the woman is on her back. It's the night of March 4th and a shot has just been fired. The man looks directly at the woman. The shot's possible directions converge in his mouth, a ray cast from somewhere outside, entering his brain. Ending him.
Von wo kam der Schuss?
From the roof outside, location A prime. The glass fractures around the bullet hole. Shards face inwards like a corona behind the woman's back.
Du inspizierst die geisterhaften Gestalten.
The man does not know the bullet has entered his brain. He never will. Death comes faster than the realization.
Alter, ich weiß nicht wieso, aber der Satz nimmt mich gerade hardcore mit. Du siehst dir Punkt A an, das Dach.
The ray cast from the man's mouth unravels into a fan of possible directions, all on the roof at first. The shot could have come from any of them. This is composite location A prime, most likely of the origin points.
Sollte es draußen nicht Schmachspuren geben?
There could have been. Then the rain and slush and wind washed it away. This was more than a week ago.
Also bin ich mir zu 80% sicher, dass der Schuss vom Dach kam?
72%, with an antique weapon that fires military-grade ammunition. A Bell McGrave rifle, for example. This is a good short distance, but not too short. The perpetrator aimed with their back against the railing, or possibly kneeling for precision. This would explain why it only took them one shot. The lights were on in here. Outside it was dark. It was like shooting fish in an aquarium, a well-lit aquarium. The victim opened his mouth to let the bullet in. Neither of them would have seen anything outside, in the darkness, too busy with their own bodies.
Hätte der Schuss auch aus dem Zimmer selbst kommen können? Ein näherer Ausgangspunkt?
Point X would contradict the woman's testimony, rendering the entire proposition void. These figures would be wiped out, Detective.
Ja, und? Spricht irgendetwas gegen A-Prime, das Dach?
None that you've found thus far, but that doesn't mean there aren't any.
Könnte es einen anderen Ausgangspunkt gegeben haben, weiter weg?
That's a 28%, yes. In this model, the shot could have come from a greater distance. Nothing excludes the possibility. Should we extrapolate to include every possible point of origin in Martinez?
Ja, wir extrapolieren das Ganze.
According to your map of the district, this shot could have come from a wide angle of locations, starting with the northern edge of the abandoned boardwalk, ending with an islet in the bay. Let's call them B prime. B prime for boardwalk, B double prime for Land's End, and B triple prime for the islet detective. There may be smaller points in between, but those are too fine to zoom in on.
Das ist halt ultra weit weg. Und dann nur ein Schuss? Weiß ich nicht. Du siehst dir Punkt B an, die Promenade.
700 meters away. The likeliest of these B positions, 20% chance. A skilled sniper could have made the shot, provided he had a safe sniper's nest. Even with the light on inside, we're talking military training. At that distance, the perpetrator would have had to take wind direction into account.
Und es war ja keine Sniper-Rifle, oder? Wir wissen, dass die Tatwaffe keine Sniper-Rifle war. Okay, gucken wir uns den zweiten B-Punkt an, Land's End.
1.2 kilometers away, the least likely of these positions. Let's say 3%. A truly skilled sniper could have done it, possibly from a tent. No, too far-fetched.
Und das Eiland?
1 kilometer away, a point beyond the docks, on an islet in the bay. The fort is ruined, but the perpetrator may have found a stable spot on the beaches surrounding it, where the concrete crumbles into the sea, as you saw in the coin-operated viewer. The shot would have been a small miracle, 5% likelihood. There is an extremely narrow field of view from the bay to the window, between Rue de Saint-Ghislain 10 and 33A. The angle would have been extreme, and access to the islets is questionable.
Kim, glauben Sie, dass der Schuss vielleicht nicht vom Dach gekommen sein könnte, sondern aus weiterer Entfernung, aus Martinez?
From where, precisely?
Sagen wir von der Promenade, Land's End oder vom Eiland?
I see you have given this a lot of thought. Are those the locations you've singled out in addition to the roof? And what is the likelihood, in your opinion, that it came from a further distance?
Sehr viel weniger wahrscheinlich als vom Dach, aber trotzdem möglich.
Okay, well, we should see if there is gunshot residue or sniper nests if we go down the coast. Rule these spots out one by one. It would be the diligent thing to do. Until then, personally, I'm going with the roof version. It fits the hidden path through the whirling. A simple hypothesis.
Ja. Ja. Krass, wow, das lief irgendwie alles ganz anders, als ich erwartet habe. Weird. Ich würde sagen, wir müssen mit Joyce sprechen und wir müssen die Punkte mal abklappern. Und dann gucken wir mal, was noch passiert. Sprechen wir nochmal mit den Hardys? Macht das Sinn? Ich habe gar keine Ahnung mehr. Aber wir sind ein gutes Stück weitergekommen. Krass. Hatte ich am Anfang der Folge nicht mit gerechnet. Aber okay. Erstmal vielen Dank fürs Zugucken bis hierher. Angenehmen Tag noch und macht's gut, haut rein. Und tschüss.